In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern. We do have Hurricane Francine imminently expected to strike the coast of Louisiana and impacting other states as well. So we're going to be diving into that. Some tropical activity along the East Coast is expected to be possible. So we're going to be really breaking that down alongside some other tropical threats. There is some interesting temperature patterns on the way, cooler, warmer at times as well. Also other storms around the nation that we're going to be discussing. So let's just dive into things and take a look here at the past 7 days of temperatures. And over the coming videos, we will see this change. This is mostly due to the beginning few days of this 7-day period, and we will see this area significantly warm as it has outside. But because the beginning of September was so cool, we're still seeing these blues here in the east. So this is still how the past 7 days have looked, and overall very warm out west. But we know this has changed and is expected to continue to change, so we are going to see this really transition over the coming 2, 3, 4 days here. And now, in kind of addition to that, what we're going to be trying to show every single day is also the 7-day total precipitation anomalies also, so we can kind of see how the past precipitation pattern has been. So let me know how you feel about us kind of reviewing the past 7 days, both in temperatures and precipitation. I feel like it's good for having an idea of where we're starting out, how things have been, as that's a good clue as to how things can go oftentimes. We have had kind of an above average amount of precipitation along Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. Mostly below average for especially the plains eastward here towards the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast here, where things have been quite dry for probably the last month or so. Pretty neutral here out west, I would say. Let's take a look here at the European model so we can just dive into these upcoming storms. And as you can see, we're taking a look at this evening. We will see that this Hurricane Francine will be striking somewhere in kind of the central eastern area of Louisiana as a pretty strong system. We do see a 975 millibar low pressure center there. This is likely somewhere between category 1 and 2, kind of as we've been preaching for a while now. But we could see widespread impacts due to this kind of tropical moisture from Oklahoma, Texas, eastward through Arkansas, Louisiana, obviously, and then Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida are all seeing precipitation due to this storm and the surrounding tropical moisture. Our jet stream is moving onshore to the central western states before really rising up and then ridging over. Something like this is what we're seeing our jet stream do. And this is really leading towards many low pressure systems, as you can see, kind of moving along this and bringing overall precipitation to these areas. Quite a bit, actually, for the Pacific Northwest down through the Rockies and even portions of western Canada there. Let's take this towards Thursday afternoon on September 12th, tomorrow from the time I am making this video, and we see a 995 millibar low pressure center over northern Mississippi here. This is probably tropical storm Francine or a tropical depression by this storm, or by this point. We're seeing a lot of precipitation here for the deeper south into the southeast. And we're still seeing this activity in the northwest, although things have kind of shifted and we're seeing cooler air able to infiltrate this area. We're seeing snowfall for states like Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah. I've heard there's even some winter storm warnings in effect for some of these areas. So this is certainly a pretty early season, pretty significant high elevation snow event. So we're looking at maybe upwards of 10 inches for some of these areas. We will look at this in a little bit. Keep in mind, we are seeing a stronger low between Wyoming and South Dakota here, and this is really aiding in this activity, to say the least. As we keep going towards Friday afternoon on September 13th, our tropical system has now, for the most part, dissipated. We do still continue to see showers and thunderstorms as a result of it throughout the southeastern corner of the nation. We do see that for the kind of northern Rockies up into Canada, we still have precipitation. It's really dying down for the United States, but mostly western and central Canada are seeing a lot of precipitation due to this pretty strong 997 millibar low pressure center. Let's keep going, take it towards Saturday afternoon on September 14th. What we see is a continuation of what we've really been seeing, southeast activity due to the tropics. The Northwest is still seeing some activity due to that on onboarding jet stream, I'd say, onto these areas, really bringing some low pressure systems onshore. to the Pacific Northwest, but more so for Western Canada here. There's your strong low over now Central Canada. As we keep going towards Sunday afternoon on September 15th, we are seeing quite a bit of showers, quite a bit of thunderstorms for the southwest and central plains here. Something like this corridor is very, very sporadic, but as you can see, there's multiple weaker low pressure systems in here indicating broad low pressure throughout this entire region. So this is really aiding in seeing these pop-up showers and thunderstorms, a lot of monsoon activity in there. Overall, going to be an active period for you guys down there in the southwest and north of Mexico, actually. As we take a look at the southwest, or the southeast better yet, of the United States here, even upwards towards the Midwest, we do see some heavier showers and thunderstorms still around for this area. Your jet stream is doing something like this. So what we're seeing is more neutral temperatures in the east, likely, as we have a slight curve to the south throughout these areas. A very cool pattern along the west coast, and a bit of a ridge across the central states is really the theme here. As we keep going towards Monday on September 16th, you can tell that activity is really getting going out west, especially where we again have broad low pressure still indicated by the L's all over the place. We see showers, thunderstorms, and even snowfall, especially the Sierra Nevada there for California and Nevada itself. We're seeing a whole lot of snowfall coming down for these mountainous areas as well. As we take a look at the east, we do see that there is a few showers and thunderstorms to discuss in here as well, up and down this kind of Mississippi River area. But not only that, we do have some tropical concerns off the southeast there that could be impacting states like South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, perhaps elsewhere. This particular model run on this European one kind of goes away with it. We do see the precipitation, but we don't see the development here. So this should still be a rainmaker for a lot of these areas that are very dry, like Virginia, North Carolina, maybe even portions of Tennessee, Kentucky, and West Virginia, as well as South Carolina there. But there is some model guidance that we're going to look at a little bit later on that still continues to show some tropical concerns here for this same exact region. Even the National Hurricane Center, as I predicted, beginning to show signs that they expect some potential development to be possible. As we move towards Tuesday afternoon, this is going to be September 17th here at about 2 p.m., we see showers, thunderstorms, and even snowfall once again for this kind of northwest corridor. Mostly Utah, Colorado, and maybe New Mexico and Arizona, they are going to be seeing a little bit of snowfall. I see some for Wyoming there. Wouldn't be surprised if Idaho and Montana get included as well. But the Rocky Mountains are starting to get some snowfall in these higher elevation areas, especially because we have a trough over these western areas, a ridge just to the east of it, and something like this with the jet stream by the 17th here. As we keep going towards Wednesday afternoon on September 18th, we have a strong low across the Dakotas here. Some diving cold air behind it. This is allowing for more snowfall to take place for the mountainous west, including the Sierra Nevada and the Rockies. And then we have this kind of cold front boundary here developing out ahead of it. And do not be surprised if we do have some active severe weather throughout the plains here as we approach kind of the middle point of next week. Actually, a week from today, believe it or not, Wednesday on the 18th. This definitely looks like it has some juice, especially considering that we have this stronger low set up to the west of it. We have warmer air really surging across the central states. I think this is a nice setup for a fall time severe weather event. And you know, this is the second severe weather season, really, is what some people call it. The fall time can sometimes feature some pretty hefty events like this, so definitely something to keep your eyes on. Again, we will continue to watch the tropics along the East Coast around this time frame. We have a lot of activity offshore here, which could really pop off at any point, but we still have showers and thunderstorms along this southeast coast still ongoing. Thursday here on September 19th looks very similar. 994 there over, I would say, just to the north of North Dakota, weaker low up to the north of that one. Precipitation really flourishing around these low pressure systems, even snowfall for Montana and Wyoming again. We're kind of missing the severe weather element this time around. Still, the southeast is continuing to see activity, but no signs of tropical activity for the most part. Friday on the 20th, this low kind of did this, and now it's heading almost directly eastward here as a 995. Now headed towards eastern Canada. We do see some showers and thunderstorms, especially underneath this, that could be impactful. Definitely needs to be watched. We do continue to see this activity around the southeast and offshore of the southeast, even in the Gulf and Caribbean. So again, tropics will continue to be monitored around here. And then for Saturday on the 21st, we have our beginning signs of this warm up ending. We have a warm ridge starting up for the west here with very warm temperatures. Jet stream ridging way above it. Trough digging down for the central states, and we still have a ridge over the eastern states. But what I think is happening here is a stronger low pressure system over Canada is developing a cold front along that eastern front of the trough there, and this should drag it into the eastern states. This would mean more activity and potentially colder air once again, kind of regaining its hold over the east. So that is going to be something I'm watching. The telltale sign here is this development of precipitation along where that cold front would be. That definitely indicates that it is on the move. It is interacting with this warmer air to the east of it, and it's likely going to blast through. Still some activity to track here across the Gulf and southeast, but like I said, on this model run, we do not see that development occur. Total precipitation here, relatively high for areas in the northwest, northern Rockies, even northern plains here, as well as the south central areas of Canada. Same story where we see Francine hit and this other area of precipitation onto the southeast, potential tropical cyclone. So these two systems really aid in increasing the amount of precipitation throughout these southeast areas. Now here is your precipitation anomalies. No surprise, like I said, northwest, northern Rockies, northern plains, and the south central of Canada above average here. So we're going to do an up arrow for above average over the next 15 days. Southeast corridor as well with these kind of two systems also gets us an above average amount here, but we end up with less over the south central and also over the northeast and Great Lakes here, as well as East Canada. We see below average precipitation, and that is overall the precipitation look here for the next 15 days. Total snowfall, we will zoom in a second. We see plenty for the Canadian and US Rockies here. So we see this corridor here, and then for kind of those Canadian Cascades down through into the Sierra Nevada, we're seeing that snowfall prevail there as well. So let's zoom in on it for the United States at least, and we do see multiple inches being possible, especially for Wyoming, some of Colorado as well, and then Montana, Idaho. I would say these very high mountaintops along the Yellowstone area, and then for Utah, we're getting the best chance of seeing accumulating snowfall. And then the Sierra Nevada, we're also seeing some purples and pinks show up, which technically is 6 to 10 or even 10 to 20 there in the pinks. However, I'm going to pump the brakes. We do have a pretty high sun angle here for this time of year. It's very early on. Also, things have been warmer and wetter over the past few months, so I think accumulation is going to be a little harder to come by than it typically would. That's not to say that it won't occur. I think that amounts will end up being a little lower than the total snowfall, of course. There is some smaller areas. This is a pretty low resolution model, so obviously some very high mountaintops could see even more than what this model is showing. But for the widespread areas here, that's going to be the case, likely a little bit less than what the model is indicating here, is my kind of final prediction there. For the temperature pattern, we still have some below normal lows happening, but above normal highs for the most part, unless you're where Francine is hitting. We do have a very, very cold air mass area underneath this low. Very common. Tropical systems oftentimes accompany very cold air underneath them. They're very intense low pressure systems, and they do bring about cooler conditions. We also see a lot of low pressure and troughing along the west, and this is aiding into some below normal temperatures, but we're blazing for the northern plains, Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Great Lakes here. Let's keep going. We see this really continue this same way. West is cold, warm in the east for a long while. We start to see the warming in the east here sometime after the 20th time frame, and some signs of cold. We don't really get it on this model run, but I really feel strongly that there will be a trough or two here within this time frame. Likely the 20th through the 30th time frame is really what I'm eyeballing. Time will tell. It's obviously a bold prediction as we are pretty far out from that, but I have a feeling based on what we're seeing from some longer range model guidance that that could be the case. Let's take a look here at the 5-day temperature anomalies here from your CFS daily model. As we take a look at the 12th through the 17th, here's the look. 17th through the 22nd, here's the look again. Cold in the west, warm in the east prevailing. 22nd through the 27th, we see warm for most of the east, cold for most of the west. Then your 27th through your 2nd of October timeframe, we really get a cooling trend here in the east, finally, kind of as I've alluded to here, mostly between the 30th there, and we see some warming pushing back further west. This isn't a pure positive PNA because we do have colder temperatures out here in the west. But these warmer areas out west will definitely aid for some cold moving into the east here. As we keep going, here's the 2nd through the 7th, 7th through the 12th, where we're really cooling here in the east, 12th through the 17th, 17th through the 22nd, and then the 21st through the 26th. Definitely looks colder in the east. It's probably going to be one or the other, either cold in the west, cold in the east here, but it looks like most of these ensemble members have it a little bit warmer out west than it is in the east. Time will tell on that one again. We're kind of at a crossroad here where it's going to really make or break what happens here moving forward. We're going to have to wait and see. The next 30 days, according to this model, looks as seen here on screen. Here is your European AI model. We see, obviously, Francine striking and sticking around the southeast. We actually do get this tropical development off the east coast here on this model, which this model has not been very bold. So I'm surprised that we're seeing this model show this when the normal European model did not. But here's Monday the 16th. Just a few days from now, 5, we see development here off of the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Towards Tuesday, we see this come onshore to around southeast Virginia area, maybe impacting the Delmarva as well as the rest of the Mid-Atlantic, as well as areas in North Carolina also by this point. That one doesn't develop too much, but it does certainly develop here on this model run. Very, very interesting. We don't really get much else to discuss here on this model. Now, another model that also continues to show this southeast system is going to be your GFS model here. So let's track it. Francine blasts by. Here's Saturday the 14th. Only 3 days from now, we start to see this low pressure system develop. And it actually strikes between South Carolina and North Carolina on this model by about Sunday the 15th into Monday the 16th. So a lot sooner we see this happening on this GFS model. And a little bit of a stronger system. Down to about 997 there as it strikes. That would likely be a tropical storm. Doubt that would be at hurricane status. There is very warm waters over these areas, so keep in mind that development could be more than what's expected here. We're really going to be tracking this one closely. It's only a potential, it's not a sure thing, so we're going to just take it with a grain of salt, continue to track it as we always do. Keep in mind, what I'm seeing from the models is there is quite a few showing development in the same area, but the difference on all of them is that there's a wide variety of areas that they have this storm headed towards. We see South Carolina, North Carolina, the European AI model more towards Virginia. So we're seeing huge discrepancies in where they show this one striking. So nothing is set in stone at all, not even the development of it. But after that, even, we see a wide variety of options. So definitely it's going to take a long time to kind of figure out what we expect here. Let's take a look here at our 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook, looking a little more active here. We have Hurricane Francine, obviously, has about 90 mile per hour sustained winds. A pretty hefty hurricane there. As I said yesterday, I did expect them to put this southeast area. I was going to be shocked if they didn't. And here it is. 0% chance over the next 48 hours, which comes as no surprise, but a 30% chance over the next 7 days. We'll have to see if they increase this or decrease this over time. It's just a chance, but definitely shows that they see what I'm seeing as well. 2 yellow areas here. One has a 10% chance over the next 48 hours and the next 7 days. So a pretty low chance there. And then we have one that has a 30% chance over the next 48 hours and 7 days. So we're going to be watching that. But we also have Tropical Depression 7 here, just offshore of Africa. So let's take a look at that one here real quickly. And we do expect to see this one move up to tropical storm status here shortly and continue moving westward at tropical storm status through the entire week into at least the weekend. Very interesting. It's already at 35 mile per hour sustained wind, so it only needs a few more before it's at tropical storm status. Really could be a threat later down the road, as it doesn't really curve to the north very much at all. If this was to head more towards the Bahamas, it would be game on basically for the Gulf of Mexico or southeast. Definitely something to watch, but there's a lot of chance for recurvature here at some point, so it's kind of up in the air where this one is going to go as well, unfortunately. Obviously, Hurricane Francine, we do expect this one to impact somewhere along either the central or eastern coast there of, well, actually, you know what? This is the outdated one, so let's update this real quickly. Here we go. Hurricane Francine, somewhere along that central or eastern coastline of Louisiana, we do have hurricane warnings up. As I always say, be sure to check out your current watches, warnings, and advisories. They will have information on what you should be doing. Again, 90 mile per hour sustained winds. That is pushing it close, kind of close towards, I would say, a category 3. It's just probably not going to do it, obviously, because we have minimal time until this one strikes. But that is pretty strong. That's well above the 74 miles per hour that it takes to become a hurricane. So we see this one about 16 miles per hour stronger than that. Definitely a hefty hurricane here striking Louisiana, unfortunately. We do see it becoming, dropping down to a tropical storm by 7 a.m. tomorrow on Thursday over more southern Mississippi, down to a depression by 7 p.m. tomorrow on Thursday in northern Mississippi, and then kind of already becoming a post-tropical cyclone somewhere along that Mississippi River between Arkansas and Tennessee likely. Very interesting, very impactful. I highly encourage you to check out all the information that the National Hurricane Center has available to you because this is an impactful system, a very dangerous system. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe as we do upload every single day. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.